What's up, guys? I'm Matt Reisinger.
And I'm CJ with CNC Electric.
We were visiting one of CJ's jobs in California. He wired this house, and we got 4 controversial ways that CJ and his crew wire that I wonder if you agree with or absolutely hate. Let's get going. Number 1, CJ, I notice that you've got this really pretty extra weave of wire going into this 3 or 4 gang here. And then also you've got this same amount of seemingly extra wire on the job. What's going on here?
So it looks like a waste, and we've been called out a couple times saying, man, you guys really waste wire. But the justification here is mainly working on custom homes. Things are moving. And so it only takes a couple boxes to move, and you take it all the way apart to where you realize, like, I don't want to do this again, because once this is stripped and made up, you're not moving it easily. So what we do is we only enter one side of a box so that we could go up or down, left or right. In this case, this is a little cluttered just because we got back-to-back switches, and this is where they're going to live. But no matter what, you can see right here, I could definitely go up or down, left or right, in case, you know, framing changes, they need to add something, or we've even had windows go in and, you know, we got to move things.
And there's a method to this extra amount of wire hanging out too, right?
Yeah.
Same reason?
Same reason. You know, it's really hard to run a cable from point A to point B and go, hey, this is the perfect length. It always ends up short. So rule of thumb, we're adding a couple extra feet. And, you know, in this house, so I think we got maybe 2 to 250 boxes. So if you add it up, you know, we're wasting a couple feet on each box. You multiply it by the boxes. What are we talking? A roll of wire by the job.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of cost that we're way willing to spend, knowing that, you know, we have flexibility in our install.
Controversial, but awfully smart. CJ, normally I see these wires stapled. What is this cool plastic thing you're using?
So these are cable stackers. It's really nice because you can fit multiple cables. There's a rating for them, or how many wires you can fit. But I mean, think about how many staples we would have put in these.
Yeah.
It's a little more efficient.
So a little controversial though, because these cost what, 50 cents, $1 each, something like that?
You know, they range depending on, you know, we try to buy them in bulk. So yeah, definitely more expensive than a staple, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's a labor saver. It's a convenience thing. You know, we got a lot of wires running in multiple directions. This bay would end up full of staples.
Yep.
And not to mention, I think one of my favorite things is, again, we're working on custom homes. Things change.
Yeah.
These you can unclip instead of yanking staples out. And then the third reason that I really like them is that it's a lot less. There's a lot less potential for you to damage a wire with a hammer, or, you know, drive a staple through. You've always heard those service calls where someone whacked the cable really hard on accident, didn't know you cut a wire, and you know, you don't find out until after drywall.
Much safer in the long run. And Sam, the project manager on this job, mentioned to me too, Matt, if you ever needed to move that outlet in the future on a remodel, you could use a fine tool, let's say, cut that nail there and there. The box is free. Yank the box out from the front of the drywall. The wire would still be left.
100%.
Shove your hand in. Push these off the cable. I'll do it on this one just so everybody knows what I'm talking about. These are able to be let free from the back, rather than how would you get a staple out if it was in the wall, right?
There's some old school tricks, screwdriver and this and that. Again, you're opening yourself up to damage. And so that's a great reason, and that's why we leave that loop. Again, we can go up or down or over if a door jamb changes. That's a common one, right? A door gets a little wider and you got to scoot the box over. If you didn't have those, you know, you're talking a couple hours in labor just to open that up and pull staples. So another good reason.
Controversial, but really smart. All right, CJ, one thing I noticed through this house that you and your guys wired is this red tape with the Sharpie logo or the Sharpie marks showing what's happening. Why that on the tape and not just on the studs?
Yeah, I feel like I said it once and I'll say it again. We work on custom homes and things change. And so for us, we use it for, if this does change, we don't have a bunch of Sharpie marks on the wall crossed out. We just rip it off, tape up a new one. We use it for delineating what switch is what, and we actually do a box walk prior to. And so what we'll do is we'll actually box out where they say it's going to go. We'll walk with the homeowner or the builder, and they're easy to read.
Yeah,
they can see.
You actually marked on there spotlight family room, spotlights, island pendants.
We'll label if there was a future light location here and we don't know the back box, We'll lay it out with stucco tape. We know there's a red mark there. We know we got to get a wire there, and then we can specify the box later.
Super smart. And then when that changes or you need to do
Rip
something
it off,
different, just rip
and
it
we
right
gotta
off.
roll. And again, I like to use the stucco tape. It seems to hold up really well. We've come back after months of it being hung up, and if a roughing gets delayed and it's still sticking, it's pretty great.
Super smart. Okay, CJ, possibly the most controversial of the tips is this one right here. Setting up a laser and drilling with a laser. Talk to me about that.
Sounds like a big waste of time, huh? I've heard a lot of that. We've been doing it for years and years, and a lot of guys do it. A common method for drilling out a wall is put it on your hip, put it on your knee, the drill, and just use that as a guide, and you end up with wonky holes. It makes it hard for pulling. It doesn't look very good, so what we do is take 20 seconds. We have a line laser, screw it to the wall. We get our elevation. It also gives us a really good visual. Once that laser beam's up, it'll show, oh, well, we want to avoid that. Let's raise it up. So we'll get our drill line. Hopefully it's consistent through the whole job, and blast away with the drill.
Super smart. And then the whole room just in one location too. I want to brag on you for a second. You told me a story earlier today when I was hanging out. New builder he hadn't worked for before. Crusty old guy on the job site was the builder. His inspector came in. This is the first time that CJ and his crew had worked with him. The inspector, electrical inspector, walked in, could immediately pick out that it was a CNC job because the lines were perfectly straight throughout the house. The wires look neat. This laser level making everything look purty through the whole job. And his electrical inspector said, oh, is this a CNC electric job I'm seeing on the permit? Oh yeah, you're good. This is an awesome job. There's hardly anything I need to look at here. And so this old school builder who had never worked with CJ and his crew before immediately had this, oh man, how about that? The electrical inspector knew this electrician, knew they do good work and care about their work. And ultimately, I think that's the reason that I really like these 4 tips from CJ is that this is gonna set your electrician, you as a builder, apart from other jobs. Your clients are gonna come in and see that straight, neat wire, the organization and the thought behind this. CJ, amazing work, my friend.
Thanks,
if
Matt.
you guys don't know CJ, he's shooting videos on his job sites that are publishing over on thebuildshow.com on a weekly basis. He's an electrician here in the California area, but of course, you can, if you have the web, you can access his videos, thebuildshow.com. Go follow him on Instagram as well. And if you're not currently a subscriber, hit that subscribe button below. We've got new content here every Tuesday and every Friday. Follow us both on Instagram or TikTok. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on The Build Show.